I need to put my phone to sit up on.
Going on, everybody? We are now live. Special edition HCPX. I got the one and the only strength and conditioning coach, Evins Tobler. You've been making some noise ever since the press conference that took place. And then, of course, I saw you with Christine and them on Women Crushing a Wednesday. I think I saw you with Bruce Goss as well. Like, I've seen you around and you've been doing the round. So you made some noise, that's for sure. But I want to, and we're going to get all that. But before anything, I want to go back a little bit, like far back. What got you into being a strength and conditioning coach in the first place? What got you into this business like that?
Well, I've always loved the sport of boxing, and I was a former professional athlete myself, track and field, collegiate champion in Puerto Rico, national champion, top 10 in America. I was a long jump. I was 180 pounds then. I was an athlete. So if you look at all the sports, you ever go to a football game, you'll see all the other sports they use track and field, which is the basis of everything. If you can run, you can do anything. So I used to make food. I used to make healthy meals. Back in the day, I don't know if you remember a 3-time world champion, Juan Diaz. You remember Juan Diaz?
Yes. Yep.
I was Juan's bodyguard.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would go to the gym and watch him do his conditioning, and I just thought I could add something to the game. At that time, Juan had a conditioning coach, so I still did my thing. I made the meals and delivered the meals, and make a long story short, I was on the track one Saturday morning, working with some regular clients and a couple of track athletes, and saw these 2 kids that looked familiar. And one of the kids was Pablo Cruz, who had a pretty good boxing career. And then the other kid was Regis Prograis, who had just started his professional career. And I saw them running in 200 meters by themselves. It's 8:30 in the morning on a Saturday morning. So these kids had to be disciplined. So I approached him and I was like, "You guys look familiar." And he was like, "Oh yeah, we train at Savannah." I was like, "Yeah, that's where I saw you guys." And I asked them what they were doing. They said preparing for a fight. And shout out to Jay John, who was Regis and Pablo's manager at the time. He said, I'll ask my manager, could we work with you? And then Jay called me. No one was making any money. I saw those kids out there and I said, they got to be special, man, out here on a Saturday morning running. And shit, the rest is history. And I knew that I could add something to the game with my knowledge I attained as a professional athlete. And I've been working with some of the best. Haney tried to check my credentials, asking me, who am I? And I was like, okay, you don't want me to run down my accolades, son, because they run deep. So I never got a chance to do it. And so I had to reintroduce myself to his ass and tell him, I'm a decorated athlete. I'm not just up here some strength coach that went to some fucking class and learned how to train. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm not his boxing coach, hell no. But I'm a part of that whole program that we're putting together to put this foot on Devin Haney's ass. So I'm decorated. I'm still ranked among the top 250 long jumpers of all time. Okay? So don't fuck with me when you talk about my credentials, Haney. I'm decorated. Your coach, your daddy, can't stand next to me as an athlete. I'm not no boxing coach. We got some of the best boxing coaches on our team. We got Julian Toole. We got Bobby Benton. We got Aaron Navarro. We got Benji Benton, who handles all the Boogaloo promotions. We got Mike as our camera guy. We got Declan handling his nutrition. We got Keith representing the Wolf Pack. Man, we got a fucking killer team, bro. We got Mom. We got Dad. Who else I'm missing? I'm missing somebody else. Mike.
Got a whole squad.
We got Ross, who's handling autobiography for Regis. Man, we got a team of people, man, that's putting together this arsenal. It's a whole lot of stuff coming at Devin Haney, man. Come on, man. It ain't about me. But I'm decorated and I'm surrounded by good people. good people. You know, so and I think that creates the champion, you know, Regis Rougarou program. We're gonna put this thing together, man.
We're feeling the heat. The temperature's already going up. I made
What's
a
up,
mistake
man?
wearing a sweater right now.
But they underestimate everything. He want to question me. All you gotta do is pull my name, pull me up, look me up like I did you. That's how I knew you went to a private school. I knew that. Ain't nothing wrong with going to a private school, but don't act like you from my hometown, Trenton, New Jersey, 600 blocks. Shout out to East Trenton. We're in the building, baby. I'm representing all them old heads in my neighborhood that kept me off the streets. Said, take your ass home. You can't be out here shooting crap. You can't be out here slinging dope. Bill Haney did the same thing to his son. But guess what? You don't hear me up there calling other men bum-ass niggas. You don't hear me doing none of that because I got that respect. And that kid don't have no respect. But he going to have some respect come December 9th because Regis is going to beat it in his ass. He going to see it. He going to feel it. You ain't going to feel me. I'm not getting in the ring. But my fighter, he getting in that ring. And you going to feel it.
We're looking forward to that in December for sure. Just to go back a little bit. Well, thank you for giving us your credentials and everything. Just in general, how do you feel about? Do you think boxing, like I understand you guys got it in order with Regis and them, but boxing in general, fighters in general, are they taking full advantage of the strength and conditioning programs, coaches, or do you think boxing is behind compared to other sports?
I think boxing is far behind because your homeboy can't be a conditioning coach. Okay? Because now we're talking about biomechanics, we're talking about muscle recovery, we're talking about explosion, we're talking about speed, and we're talking about stamina. When you take a fighter at this level, you have to have a lot of components together to make up this one athlete. When I look at a fighter, I put a program together, and they all come from gymnastics. The gymnasts are the strongest athletes on the world. They don't touch no fucking weights. Gymnasts, water polo, sprinters, jumpers, okay? University of Iowa wrestling program, I love that program, okay? You take all these different sports, right? And you combine, and you come up with a conditioning program. Because when I ran the 400 meters on a relay, at 355 meters, my legs will lock up. So you have to train the system to handle lactic acid. It's the same in boxing. What do they do? What did I do the most of? I was a professional runner. What did I do? I fucking ran. You didn't hear me say, oh, coach, my legs gave out. I finished every race. How many times have you heard a boxer at this level, heavyweight, lightweight, cruiserweight, bantamweight, said he punched himself out?
Punched himself out, got tired, got cramps. We've heard several things, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they're far behind. I got a vault, like right here, right here, right here, and right here. I lived all that shit. And if you don't have a conditioning coach that understands the dynamics and how that shit work, I don't tell my fighters how to throw a punch. I make sure they can throw a punch and throw that bitch long and hard and fast and recover at the same time. It's a big difference. There's levels to this.
Now, historically, boxing's been known as a sport that requires a lot of stamina, a lot of conditioning. Do you think because of that, because of maybe old school, training methods, that maybe it's stubborn in its ways? Do you think that has a lot to do with it?
Well, you can't be stubborn because guess what? The basics, that's the ground. That's your what do you call it? That's your base. The base is exactly what you said, right? You have to have lungs that do this, and this. You have muscles that do this and do this.
Okay.
You got to be able to do this for a long time. So the basic stuff, it don't change. What's happening is everybody want to bring in a machine, a fucking tube in your mouth, to think you're running and think you're testing your lungs. Take your ass out there and run in the streets. Run with the elements. If you want to punch, hit the fucking bag. They turn boxing into some type of like the boxers are becoming guinea pigs.
Okay.
You got people in the water lifting weights. What kind of sense does that make? The water and the sand are the two most highest levels of resistance you can get yourself into.
Okay.
What the fuck you doing punching in the water? Why? It's already the highest level of resistance. At the same time, it's functional resistance. It's functional. When you lift weights, if you're not lifting the weights right, it doesn't become functional. In some sports, you don't need functional weight training. But in this sport, everything has to be functional.
So I want to ask you about this because you just brought some things to mind. I've seen some boxers on Instagram where they have this machine that they put on, and it's supposed to, I guess, simulate like high elevation or something like that. Is that effective? Is it a good a good alternative anyway than the real thing? Is it effective at all? Like, how do you feel about that?
Hell no, it's not effective. Because guess what? We got the treadmill aiding everything. The treadmill is helping you run faster, right? You got the machine that's pumping. I don't know what the fuck they're pumping in them. I don't know what they got in that's going into your lungs, right? So it's like taking an athlete. Let's take a marathoner. If you take a marathoner and tell them to run 10 miles on a treadmill, they could do it. As soon as they go outside of the elements, big difference. If you want altitude, take your ass to Mexico City or take your ass to Bogota, Colombia.
It
It's
has to
nothing.
be
There's
authentic.
a machine that can equal what you can do naturally. It doesn't work.
Okay. So do you think because I do see a lot of fighters actually that use treadmills that that's mainly, I know a fighter personally that it's mainly the treadmill. I never see them doing road work or nothing like that. It's like, are you a believer in road work?
Well, yes, I like, listen, don't let me, I don't want to confuse what I'm trying to say about the treadmill. There's certain times, there's certain things that I do on the treadmill when I can't get outside. Like there's things I could do. I could turn the treadmill into a workout. Okay, I'm not knocking the treadmill, but what I'm saying is there's nothing that takes the place of the real movement. You can run 30 seconds on a treadmill, and I tell you to come outside and run a 30 seconds 200. It's a big difference. Big difference.
Okay.
And then some athletes, they have to use the treadmill, but most of the treadmills, they're making better treadmills now with more cushion, more give back. It's like they want to try to make it feel like the real thing, but it's nothing like the real thing. I mean, if you have to use the treadmill, use the treadmill. But I have certain workouts that I could do on a treadmill, but I don't want to use the treadmill all the time for my running unless it's necessary, unless my fighter has problems with allergies and all kinds of stuff. But there's nothing, in my opinion, nothing beats the elements, bro. Nothing.
Okay. Well, what about those chambers that fighters go into that like instead of going into like the ice bath, they use the chambers? Are those effective? Because I have no clue.
Some of the athletes, they like them, but it's still it's still taking the place of an ice bath. A fucking ice bath is an ice bath.
Right. There you go. Just get in the ice bath, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing. I
There you
mean,
go.
and guess what? They like that shit. They making money off of it. Everybody making money off of a basic thing. You can just put some water in the fucking tub and get your ass in the ice bath.
So, and one more thing that this shocked a lot of boxing fans when we saw it, and made us laugh and made us question. I don't know who convinced Marquez to drink his own urine, but when he was drinking his own urine, do you remember that? What were you thinking? Because he was convinced that like helped him.
I remember. Well, guess what? What we can't do is take that mental edge away from an athlete. Some athletes believe in certain things, so Marquez believed that was going to work. I'm not drinking my own piss. I mean, I don't know. I like Marquez. He's one of my favorite fighters. I like him.
Okay.
But if it helped his mental, if it helped his psyche, hey, do all you want, drink all you want.
So it probably just one of those. If he believed it, right?
Oh yeah. So if
So
there's science behind that, but it's waste going out of the body. And
yeah,
while you put that back in, you know what I mean, saying what you going if you drink it, you're gonna still piss it back out. Every time you piss, you drinking it. I mean, like, what was the significance? It don't make
yeah,
sense to me, but to him, it makes sense. More power to Raul Marquez.
yeah. Look, and if he tells me that's why he knocked out Pacquiao, I'm not going to argue with him, right? So it is what it is. But
It took him 3 times. They figured out what Pacquiao was doing.
yeah,
He waited for 3 years, and he finally got the punch he wanted.
finally got it. That's for sure. So let's before we get to Prograis, I want to ask you about Ginny Fuchs. I've had her on before. She's an Olympian.
Mm-hmm.
Amateur standout. Has all the credentials,
Mm-hmm.
but for whatever reason, no major promoter assigned her, and she's gotten on some cards, but it's been very difficult to get fights for her. Um, what do you think is going on with that? Do you think she's just too
I,
high a
I
risk?
I just think her credentials, her accolades are very, very high. She's a 2-time Olympian. She's an undefeated pro, and right now it looks like she's gonna have to work her way up. No one wants to fight her. She's undefeated, and when you look at her resume, very, very expensive to fight a Ginny Fuchs. But we're gonna get there. We're gonna take our time. We're gonna be patient, and we're gonna take the fights that they give us and keep winning and keep winning. Eventually, they're gonna have to bring it down. They're gonna have to get it. So she works her ass off, man. I've been training Ginny over 10 years now, and she's a hard ass worker. She's one of my hardest workers. So I believe that it's going to happen to her, and she will be world champion one day, real soon.
Okay, so I was going to ask you about that. Do you think she's ready for that already?
Oh yeah, she's ready. She's ready.
Okay,
She's
all
ready.
right, all right. Let's talk about this press conference. You brought up that you did research and you found out Devin Haney went to a private school. Now I know you made it clear that you said there's nothing wrong with going to a private school, but you have an issue with the way he was talking. You're saying he's acting fake.
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't like I said before. To every parent out there that were bamboozled by the words of Bill Haney, I'm here to set the record straight. Me, myself, if I could afford to send my kid to private school, I would have. Okay, but what we have here is we have a kid who's a boxer and he's definitely an educated kid, so he knows manners. Okay, so the words that came out of his mouth to me were disrespectful. And where I'm from, Trenton, New Jersey, 600 block of East Trenton, we don't talk, we don't you don't say those words unless you're ready to fight. So knowing when he said that, I wasn't really going to say nothing. I was like, you call me a bum ass nigga, like where'd you learn that from? They don't teach that in Catholic private school. So that means you're hanging around people that are talking like that, and that is rubbing off on you. Because I know Bill Haney didn't teach him that. Bill is a he seemed like he's a good father to that kid. I know he didn't teach his son to talk like that. I know he didn't. But that talk don't intimidate me. It don't intimidate me. It
So
don't.
I just want to backtrack a little bit. Why do you think he called you a bum? As like what
He,
exactly did you say? Do you feel that set him off?
because the deal was this. This is the kicker.
Mhm.
I came out and I want them to treat my fighter like the champion. So in any
Okay.
championship, the champion does nothing first. Okay? So when we came out, I was already 20 steps ahead because I told Regis, I said, I believe since we're here, we're in San Francisco, this is supposed to be his homecoming. They're gonna try to make you feel like you're the challenger. I said, that's not going to happen. I said, but if Eddie Hearn asks you to speak first, we're not doing it. So what did Eddie do? Eddie turns to me and says, Evans. I was like, oh, hell no. The challenger can tell the public how he's going to beat the champion. And what did Bill Haney do? He tells me that I was invited. How the fuck you going to invite the champion to the championship fight? You was invited because you're trying to take the belt. So he wasn't expecting that. He looked startled. And then he says, you was invited. I said, no, you got this confused, bro. You the challenger. You was invited. I don't give a damn if it's San Francisco. We're the champions. You're gonna treat us like champions, and you're gonna get treated like the challenger. So that really upset them because they was not expecting me. They don't even know that. Like he said, who the fuck are you, bum ass nigga? Who are you? I just told you. I just reintroduced myself. I'm a decorated athlete. I'm the conditioning coach of two-time world champion at the 140-pound class, Regis Prograis. That's who I am. And that's who I represented on the stage. And I represented my team. And the things that I said about Devin Haney, they were true. They were facts. I had my notes. I had everything. And I only looked up that he was a private school kid because I was thinking, I looked at the way he's talking to people. I'm thinking, that's not what they teach. So obviously he want people to think he's tough because those are tough words.
Yeah. Okay. So he said what he said, and now it got heated, like at the press conference for sure. In this era where we're in an era where like the A side, quote unquote, like gets the special privilege, even if they're not the champion. Do you think that's what they were doing? They're trying to like A side you guys and show you who's boss and
for sure. That's why Bill Haney said that we was invited. I said, no, sir. No, we wasn't invited. You're the one that's invited because you're trying to get this belt that you're not going to get. So how about you tell us how you're going to get it and we'll be quiet.
Okay.
I meant that shit.
Now, I'm going to straight up ask you, in your opinion, do you think they took this fight because of the way Prograis looked in this early fight?
Oh, 200%. How fucking arrogant is that? To think that a fighter at this level can't cut the ring off. Are we entitled to have bad days? Yes, it's proven. Tyson Fury had a bad day. Okay?
Very bad day. I think he needed a strength and conditioning coach.
Berliner had a bad day. Roberto Duran had a bad day. You're entitled to have a bad day. Well, what they do and what I said, when I say something, it's the truth. They sat around and they came up there. They were invited by Eddie Hearn to come see Regis. Come on, man. That's what he said. Eddie invited him. So anyway, you showed up. You saw a not so good performance, and you figured you could take them. That's why they came. That's why they got the fight.
So their energy changed a little bit, it seems, after that performance. I guess they thought they saw a wounded animal or something. What went wrong in that fight? Now I still scored it for he still won. Prograis still won the fight, but
what went wrong was we got a last minute replacement. And the kid felt Regis' power, and he got on his bicycle and he started to run. And what Regis, we didn't prepare for nobody running, and he's human. He chased the guy around the ring, trying to chase him around and beat him up. And what they were thinking that, we can't cut the ring off and we can't deal with the boxer. And that's why, and Devin Haney is a boxer. He's a good boxer. So that's why they think that they could take this fight. What they're underestimating is that Regis Prograis can box too. He can box too.
Yeah. Well, that's facts.
Yeah, but they're so confident and so arrogant that they're overlooking that, and they're also overlooking how fast he is, and how awkward and how hard it is to hit him. They saw where Devin Haney got the best jab, and we're gonna see. We're gonna see everything.
Also,
everything changes until you get punched in the motherfucking mouth.
So you guys were getting ready to fight the Australian Paro,
Mm-hmm.
and then a completely different style to Zorilla, right?
Mm-hmm.
And were you guys aware of Zorilla's style, like going because it was short notice, but were you kind of like what did you know about him going into the fight?
We knew nothing about Zorilla. Nothing. Is that he
Okay,
was a tough opponent. He had some fights. He went to distance with some other fighters, and that was it. You know, and I'm not the boxing coach, so the boxing coaches they look at that. Bobby Benton, Julian
okay,
True, Aaron, that's their job. They look. I look at fights as well to look at weaknesses in the conditioning of athletes and when they get. You know, I watch that part of the fight, but I don't per se go and say, well, he's dropping his right hand. He's doing. We got boxing coaches. We got people to do that, and I know they watched the fight, and I know he was the last minute replacement, and I know that it wasn't such a great performance by the champ. And he'll honestly tell you that it wasn't a good night. But guess what? A good night is a good night because we still won the fight. You
right.
know, and it was so good that the Haneys came in and got the fight, and now we got the last biggest fight of the year. So thank you, Haney.
So look, if Zorilla felt the power and started to run, I mean, you got to know that that's likely what Haney is going to do.
But guess what? We prepared for that.
Okay.
Remember, remember, I am the ultimate track coach. I know my fighter can run. We're gonna be able to. We're gonna be good to go. We're gonna listen. What
Okay.
else? Listen. The public is gonna pay their hard-earned money to watch this on pay-per-view. They're gonna pay their hard-earned money to come into the stadium. Regis Prograis and Team Prograis, we're coming to fight. We're coming to fight. We're coming to box. We're coming to brawl. We're coming to do all that. The public needs to ask Devin Haney, is he going to run or is he going to fight? Which one? Because in all his fights, his toughest fights, he didn't knock nobody out.
Right.
And in my opinion, he lost to Lomachenko. And Lomachenko physically is a way smaller guy. All the guys that he fought that were quality, he outpointed them. He didn't knock him out. So how does he think he's gonna knock Regis Porter out? Since he says that. But we on record. We are conditioned to do that. Our record says it. 24 knockouts, 25 knockouts with 29 victories. A lot of people got knocked out.
Mhm.
And everybody that Devin Haney knocked out, I looked them up.
Yeah. Look, Devin Haney is not a big puncher. Now I know after his fight with Jojo Diaz,
Mm-hmm.
which I think was a tougher fight than people say, but I thought it was a tough. He couldn't land a jab on Jojo.
It was a tough fight.
Yeah, yeah, but now he won the fight. I did score for him, but I had it close. But my point is, after the fight, they asked Jojo, can he punch? Like, is he strong? And he kind of said he's all right. And they asked, do you think he looks like he's struggling to make weight? Do you think he'll have power? And Jojo actually did say that he believes Haney will have more power when he moves up to 140 pounds. Do you agree with that?
I don't agree because guess what? If you don't have power, you don't have power. It's not going to happen.
Well, that's true. He's not going to just.
It's like he don't have no chin. He been hurt. Ask the public and ask the boxing world how many times Regis Porter been hurt by any 40 pounders. Josh Taylor hit him with some flush ass punches. He didn't hurt him. Jose Cepeda hit him with some flush ass punches. He didn't hurt him. What in the fuck do you think Devin Haney gonna do?
Now, I'm not just saying this because you're here, but I have the video archive to prove it. But I did score that fight for Prograis against Taylor. I thought he won.
Mm-hmm.
I think if that fight was anywhere else other than the UK, Prograis would have got a decision, in my opinion. It was close though. Like I understand, but is Haney? I'm sorry, Prograis. Like, how much better is he now than he was even then when he fought, Josh Taylor?
Oh my God, he's miles ahead of that fight. Josh Taylor, the one that didn't improve. Okay, so if we look at Josh Taylor, let's say that was the close victory they gave Josh Taylor, right? 23,000 people. The next fight was Catterall. Catterall put him on his ass 2 times. They still gave the fight to Josh Taylor. It was just a matter of time before the boxing world had to see Josh Taylor lose. What happens? Teofimo comes up. Josh Taylor was marinated to lose. So guess what?
Yeah.
Teofimo beat him. It was that time. He'd already lost 2 fights. So he lost. But was he is he tougher than Devin Haney? By far. Did he hit hard Devin Haney? Hell yeah. So
But what about the holding? Are you guys ready for because that's what Haney he does a lot of holding tag. He's gonna try to force Regis. He does that to all his opponents to reset and all the action.
He not if he grabs Regis Prograis, he's gonna be on his fucking back. I wish he would come in and try to grab. Let him come in and grab.
You guys have an answer for that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Nice
a legal answer, right? Like a
oh yeah.
Okay.
This fight, it's gonna be a fight, man. It's gonna be everything that's legal in the fight, it's gonna be in the fight. It's a real fight. It ain't no pity pat run. He wants to do that. He's not gonna be able to do that. Not gonna happen.
Promoter Eddie Hearn. He's come out, has voiced his frustration and saying, hey, these fights gotta deliver. People are tired of fights that don't deliver, et cetera, et cetera. That's one of the things he's been hammering home. Just promoted a fight that did deliver over there in Mexico with Shockey Foster and Hernandez. That was a war, by the way, a great fight. Congratulations to Shockey, by the way. But do you think there's going to be some pressure on Haney because it's on pay-per-view, and there's this pressure for these fights to deliver, or do you think he's just going to stick to his game plan and if he stinks out the joint, that's the way he wins? Like what do you think is going? I know we're not mind readers, but do you think he's feeling some of that pressure?
Well, no matter who you are, what level you're at any professional sport, there's pressure when you're at home. Okay, we also experienced that in New Orleans. Yeah, it was Regis Prograis. He was, everything that goes to being home, tickets and family. That's gonna be a part of it as well. But at the same time, they're professionals, and I don't know if that's going to be a factor, but it's a real thing. It's a natural thing to happen to a fighter at this level. I believe I believe it's going to sell out, and we're going to be in his backyard. We've been here before. He hasn't.
Okay, so like he's going to feel the pressure being at home. Doesn't want to fail in front of his people. So that's definitely real pressure. But what about like the Eddie Hearn just screaming to the rooftops that he needs these fights to deliver? Because we kind of know what that means. That means he wants these guys to fight. Like he doesn't want pity pat, like you said.
Well, then Eddie Hearn needs to talk to Devin Haney, because we don't come to pity pat nothing. He needs to talk to Devin, because we already know what his history is. His history is hit and run, jab and run.
Now, to his credit, he did kind of stand in the pocket at times, and he did a good job landing to the body of Loma when he did have success.
People giving him credit to stand in the pocket of Loma. Loma don't hit as hard as Regis Prograis. Regis Prograis is very skillful, and Lomachenko is small, and Lomachenko was moving Devin Haney around the ring. How you gonna give him credit for standing in the pocket with a little fella like Lomachenko? Let Lomachenko be a real 135-pounder. He'd have beat the shit out of Devin Haney. He's not a true 135-pounder. If I'm not mistaken, he came from 122 or maybe 126. He came up to fight.
126, yeah.
He came up to fight. Those guys are naturally smaller.
JoJo small too, yeah.
And so he's talking about he had a problem with making weight. So when you really made that weight, and after rehydrating, you still was dominated physically by smaller guys, and you were hurt by smaller guys. That's what the arrogance takes over, because you can't think in your right mind. Okay, you come to 140. He probably walking around like 165 pounds right now. But guess what? That shit got to come off. It's going to come off. And it's going to be the same thing. No power and no chin. He does not have a chin. And he's going to get hit in the chin. Will Regis get hit? Yes, he's going to get hit. But he can take everything that Devin Haney's dishing out punch-wise. But can Devin Haney take the punches from Regis with Prograis? Can he take those punches? I don't think so. Not for 36 minutes. That's why I keep telling people this fight is not going 12 rounds. And I see Devin Haney get knocked out before 12 rounds in his hometown.
Are you aware of any rematch clause or anything like that?
I don't know. I don't even. That's not my.
Okay.
I don't even get into that.
That's cool. That's cool.
We're not. We sending him back down at 135.
That's right. All right. So, assuming you win, right? We got to see the fight, of course, but
we can win.
All right. Well, if that comes to pass, who would you just as a? You're not saying you're in his team, but as a fan of boxing, who would you like to see Regis in the ring with? Like what challenge? What challenge do you see? Like, okay, I want to fight that guy. That's a challenge right there.
After Regis win this fight by knockout, I don't give a damn who we get in the ring with. We're gonna continue to win.
Okay.
It don't matter to me.
Well, there you go, man. Now, a guy you guys stopped who's a really tough guy. Cepeda, he's a tough dude, but Regis overwhelmed him, stopped him. Is that did you know you were going to stop him? No, he's a tough dude.
I want you to do your research. I want you to go back and listen to what I told Cepeda. I told Cepeda the same thing. I said, you've done this 2 times, son. I said, this fight is going to be totally different. I said, you're going to get beat up, and then you're going to get knocked out for the first time in your career. You're going to get knocked out. Go back and look at that. I told him, Regis Prograis died 3 times in training. He died to the process that I was dishing out. And I told Regis, there's no way in hell that you don't knock Cepeda out. I don't care what Cepeda brings to the table. I don't care how hard he punches, he's getting knocked out. That's exactly what happened. And I'm telling Devin Haney the same thing. You're going to get knocked out worse than we did with Cepeda. It's going to be the worst knockout of the year.
Man. Devastating knockout on the way. Yep. Okay. Man. Well, look, we've seen Haney hurt. He was hurt by Linares. I think Loma had him hurt. I think it's the 10th or 11th round. Yeah. So if Prograis lands, he could definitely do damage to Haney. The question is, can he land that flush punch? And that's why we're tuning in, right? To see because to his credit, Haney is a really good boxer. He's going to be very slippery in there. You know what I mean?
Well, guess what? We got 2 of the best boxing coaches on the motherfucking planet. We got Julian Chu and we got Bobby Benton, 2-time world champion coach. With these 2 minds together, will he land a punch? He gonna land more than 1 punch. He gonna land a whole lot of punches. The question is this: every interview I've gone on since the day of that press conference, I was just telling the truth, man. I wasn't trying to do all the things that's coming this way. I wasn't trying to get any of this. I don't even have a fucking Twitter account for 3 or 4 years. I just opened my Twitter account up because the young lady Nikki from Christina's podcast said, "Coach, you should open a Twitter." I ain't know how to get on Twitter.
Well, it's on fire now.
You know what I'm saying? So what's about to happen, man? It's real. It's real. And Devin Haney gonna be in trouble, man. You're gonna be in trouble. It's not gonna be what people think, man.
Regis Prograis, I've never seen him on any publications, top 10 pound for pound or anything like that. He's always been just right outside of it. Maybe if he got the nod against Tater, they would have put him there. But a win over Devin Haney, in your opinion, does he earn a spot in that top 10 pound for pound?
Well, the boxing world has Devin Haney on the pound per pound list. So and listen, I'm not too too up to where I can't recognize. Has Devin Haney done some great things in 135-pound division? Yes. Has he fought the absolute best at 135? No, because you still got two monsters down there. You got uh, uh, Tank Davis, and you also have Shakur Stevens. He didn't fight those guys. So, I mean, the things that he's done has earned him a spot on the pound-for-pound list. Shout out, good for Devin Haney, but he still hadn't fought the best. And I don't know who makes the list, but when Regis Prograis knocks him out, Regis need to take his spot on the list. They got Devin Haney as number 4 on the pound per pound. So what happens when you make the number 4 person on the pound per pound list crushing? What happens then? And the boxing world, they got their own political shit going on, bro. They pick who they want, okay? You know, I mean, they should have been put Charlo on that list a long time ago. There's a lot of guys that are not even on that list. Nobody even talks about Andre Ward. One of the greatest fighters, he's undefeated. They talk about Mayweather more than talk about Andre Ward. Andre Ward is a motherfucking legend. Come on, man. The boxing world, they got to get better with recognizing the best boxers. Nobody talks about Winky Wright either. He was also a tough champion. They want the glamour. They never talk up. They just really started talking about how hard it was for Marvin Hagler to even get a championship fight, and he was beating everybody. Let's look at Tyson Fury and what's the big old African kid. Come on, man. Even he had an off night. But if he had to put it to me, I didn't see the whole fight. But all I saw was Tyson Fury on his back. So I think
he looked tired in that fight.
They got to get better criteria on who belongs on that list.
Yeah.
So, and when he knocked Devin Haney out, he needs to take Devin Haney's place on that list.
Man, so he's going to take his pound for pound spot. Anything else you guys going to take?
We won everything.
Yeah,
about that time. 2-time world champion. What else do you need to be on the pound per pound list?
Yeah, I think I do agree. A win over Devin Haney should definitely have him in the top 10 pound per pound. So we got some in the chat saying Devin's going to stop Regis. Well, what are the chances of that happening?
How about you ask that same person? Tell me how.
Well, I think he's trolling. He's saying Devin will stop Shakur. I mean, I don't.
Man, Shakur is special. He could fight his ass off. Another Jersey boy.
Yep. There you go. Any message you want to put out there right now? Any final words before I let you go? Anything you want to say? And why should people, tune in on pay-per-view to watch this fight on the Zone?
Well, I want to give a shout out to the whole entire world, from London, Dubai, Australia, Saudi Arabia, every state in the United States. Tune in to watch this unbelievable fight where the world, a lot of these people are banking that Devin Haney, the fake Devin Haney, is going to dethrone 2-time world champion Regis Prograis. I'm here to tell you to tune in. Watch this dominant performance by Regis Prograis. Not only will he shut the people up who says he can't box, not only will he shut the people up that says he can't cut the ring off, he's going to shut a whole bunch of you guys up, all you boxing writers that are riding Devin Haney's butt. I'm not going to be surprised. So tune in and watch Regis Prograis and Devin Haney go head up. And I also want all those countries and all those states to DM Devin Haney and ask him what he's going to do. Because I'm telling you right now that Regis Prograis, he's coming to fight. He's coming to fight. But what is Devin Haney coming to do? Are you coming to run? Or are you coming to fight because you saw performance of Regis Prograis in New Orleans? We're coming to fight. Watch the fight and watch Regis Prograis come to fight and stop Devin Haney by knockout before the 12th round.
And it will end inside the distance, says Evans. Tobler, I can't look. I'm purchasing the fight. I'm going to watch the fight. It should be a good one. It's a good card as well. Shout out to Matchroom,
Mhm.
and I appreciate you coming on, Coach. Hope to
Hey,
have you back on in the future.
thank you for having me. Peace.
There we go, guys. The one and the only Coach Evans Tobler. He's a strength and conditioning coach of Ginny Fuchs and Regis Prograis. I forgot to ask him if he works with other fighters, but um, he has mentioned other athletes he works with. Look, I obviously he's coming from a perspective from the Devin Haney side, right? Like they're confident that they have to have that war mentality. Remember Hagler wore that hat. It said war, right? Like that. They have to have that mentality, like Spartans about to go to war or something, and they have their warrior and that they're getting ready. And boxing is of course it's settled in the ring, but the mental warfare has always been part. Whether it's effective or not is debatable, and it could depend fight by fight. But I do believe in mental warfare. I do believe that you could get in the head of an opponent. I do believe that. You know what I mean? So I am personally looking forward to this fight, and I like the fight, and I haven't decided yet who I'm going to pick. Right? Like it's a hard fight for me to call. Haney's a great boxer. You know what I mean? He moves. He's slippery. Uh, he could have a great performance in a box Regis, or maybe disaster can spark. Maybe Regis has the right formula, can land the right shots, hurt, and he can. If he lands flush on Haney, he will hurt him. And looks like the Prograis side is extremely confident that they're going to do that. Haney, I'm sure that they're confident they're going to outbox Prograis. That they think, hey, well, look how you struggle with Zorilla. So what are you going to do against me? It should be very, very interesting. And it's always great to get a lot of good insight from a great strength and conditioning coach that works with for my knowledge, two great world-class athletes in the professional boxing game. I've heard he's not the only guy I've heard talk about the game of boxing being behind with strength and conditioning. And I think, having a strength and conditioning coach, we've seen the difference, right? We've seen the difference with athletes and fighters. So, hey, why not? You know what I mean? The more, the better. But I will make my prediction as we get closer to the fight, JC. JC's trying to pressure me out here, bro. Like make a pick, bro. Like I generally don't know yet. You know what I mean? And I want to see if there's a way. The dude's everywhere anyway. I want to see if I can get Bill Haney on and see what he has to say. But I don't think he'll come on my channel. But if he comes on, he could come on. I'll be just as fair to him as I am to everybody else. And that is that. Look, everything I say, and somebody might say, "Oh, you're only saying you think Prograis is really undefeated because you had a strength and conditioning coach." Like, no, like I've been saying this for a while. I've always felt Regis is an undefeated fighter in my mind. I think he beat Josh Taylor in a very close fight, but I thought he won that fight. I thought he won the Zorilla fight, but he didn't look good in that fight. So, and I do believe that, as Chicano says, the vultures showed up when they thought, okay, this guy is a wounded animal. Let's go now. There's a good opportunity to grab this belt. So it'll be interesting. That's all I have to say. All right. With that said, guys, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Share this on all social media platforms. This is D-Style Boxing. Keep it boxing. All right. This has been a special edition HCPX. Hit the like before you go. And I'm out. Peace.